let's discuss emphasis. Emphasis is another tool that artists use. We can create emphasis two ways. Emphasis is what you want the viewer to notice. What is important? Emphasis, creating emphasis through the use of color. So the first example is creating emphasis by manipulating color. So if we have a dark green background, and this can be any color, and we add a light green circle, a light green oval, and then an orange rectangle, what are you going to notice? The thing that's different, or the brightest perhaps. So we can use color as a way of creating emphasis. Your eyes go around the composition, but they come to the focal point, or the point of emphasis. So we're using color to create emphasis. Another way of creating emphasis, and the definition is the same, emphasis, what you want the viewer to notice, what is important. Emphasis, this time we're going to create emphasis through the manipulation of proportion. Proportion is the size of an object. So let's say we have a triangle, an oval, and kind of like a circle or an oval. These shapes are pretty much the same size. Well, if we add a shape that's even larger, it might not be the brightest colored shape on our composition. However, it is the largest. So yes, your eyes might go around the composition, but eventually they're going to go to something that is the biggest. Or you could have a bunch of big shapes and one little teeny small shape, your eye is going to go to what is different. So emphasis by manipulating size or by manipulating the color. Today we're going to discuss space, positive and negative space. If you think about your paper, this is your space. The space on which, or the surface on which you're drawing. Positive space is what the object is. Negative space is the area around the object itself. So here we go. If I take this space and remove the rest of this area, this is my positive space. It is the object. So positive space is the object. Let's combine this back. Negative space is the area around our object. So if I remove the object, this is the negative space, or the empty space. It's empty. So remember, positive and negative space, it's in every drawing just about, or every painting. Positive space is the object itself. Negative space is the space around and in between an object. So we've used a simple triangle. Well, let's get a little bit more complicated. So if I take a piece of paper and draw a glue bottle on it, the positive space is the bottle itself. That's the object. The negative space is the area around it, or if I remove the object, this would be the negative space. So by removing the object, I have created negative space, or I can leave the object on the medium, the paper, the painting. This in turn becomes the negative space. So usually negative space is the area around the object or the absence of a positive space. Let's get a little bit more complicated. So here's a picture, a quick little picture I drew of a pair of scissors laying on an orange table. This is the background, I guess like the wall, and here's a little piece of paper. The object itself are the scissors. The scissors you can see through. The pieces or the part of the composition in between the blades and in between the handles, these are all negative spaces. If I remove the background, the negative spaces are the spaces where the handles are, in between the handle and in between the blades themselves. If you think about negative space has a shape. So in between the blades looks like a triangle. In between the handle looks like an oval or a circle. And this shape is an irregular shape. But when you're drawing something, pay attention to the negative space, the areas in between and around your object. So quick review. Positive and negative space. Positive space is usually the object. Negative space is a space around and in between an object. Third, fourth, and fifth graders, you are going to draw Scooby-Doo. Where are you? But make sure that you turn your paper hamburger so it's tall. Not hot dog so it's wide, but hamburger so that it's tall. We're going to draw the picture of Scooby-Doo. Duh, I've already said that. Sitting down on his hind legs, or sitting on his bottom. So I'm going to start close to the top, not all the way at the top, but maybe about 2 inches away from the top. I'm going to start by drawing his nose. You can shade that in now, or you can shade it later when we have crayons or colored pencils. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the top of the nose. Let's get the hardest part out of the way, and that's the top of his head, the top portion. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the edge of his head. Actually, let's start with the eyes. A little eye and a little circle or oval that touches the bottom. And then a larger one. Then a smaller oval inside. And then the edge of the head. The eyebrows are fairly big. There's a line under the eye. We're going to skip a space and draw the back of the head and neck. Let's draw the ears. We're not done. The other ear. There we go. Let's work on this part of the mouth. One curved line. Put your 3 dots inside that. Small curved line. Another curved line. The other side. Curved line. And we're going to make it curve back to the nose. And you have 2 dots right here. The bottom lip comes down, around, up. And then the chin. One curved line, come back down. Another curved line. Two little dots here. And then 2 hairs. The other side of the neck will start here, come down and stop. The collar. Curve line, looks like the letter C. Curve line, curve line. Curve, 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 curve. His little dog tag is basically a diamond. It has a smaller diamond inside, then an S, and a D. But they're so small, you can just draw something inside and no one will know. Alright, let's start with the front leg that's on the right side. Curve line. Start inside this curve, come out and around. Come down close to the bottom, but go back up. You changed your mind. Come down around one toe, down around 2 toes, down around 3 toes. You're going to come up to where the elbow is, curve out and around. And inside this leg, you have some spots. the left side of Scooby-Doo. Curve out, down, and stop. This should be below the elbow. So the elbow of Scooby-Doo is here. This line is below. Curve down like this. When you get close to this leg, you're going to come up and then down to the toe. The other side of the front leg, this is the chest right here, but this is part of the leg. It's not the stomach. You're going to start here, come out, down, like that. It's almost like a straight line. That's the elbow on the other side. And then you're going to curve down like so. You're going to add 3 more toes. 1, 2, 3. Add 1 black dot, 2 black dots. Now the back legs. You're going to have 1 back leg on the right, 1 back leg on the left. Forgot, there's 1 little hair that sticks out. You're going to draw, you're going to skip a space here. You're going to start somewhere below this elbow, come down maybe about 2 inches. From here to here is 1 inch. From here to here is another inch. So come down about 2 inches. Go up, around, and then from here to here, connect. We're going to skip this side and come down to the toes. Starting here, come over just a little bit. Curve line, straight line. Let's start the first toe. 1 toe. 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to close this side off. Starting at this toe, you're going to draw a line that curves back to this line. There's a spot right here. The tail will look like the letter S, almost like a bubble letter S. Curve line over. Skip a space. Parallel curve line over. We have to close this area, not with a straight line, but with a curved line. We have 1 more leg to draw. Do you see where this knee is? we're going to come over here. So if we had a line extended, this knee and this knee are about the same height. Come over. And we're going to go down and around to the toe, this toe here. So we're going to go down, around into the toe. We're going to add 3 toes. I'm not sure why, just 3. 1, 2, 3. And that, in essence, is Scooby-Doo. You're going to add color to Scooby-Doo. So if you have color pencils, great. If you don't, great. Use what you have. I have been using crayons. I'm kind of at a point where I feel like you all understand how to use crayons, and that's fine. Some of you are not using crayons, so I'm going to show you what yours would look like with color pencils or other medium. So I'm going to pick the areas that are not repeated very often, or I should say the colors that are not repeated very often. I could make this darker if I wanted to, and just like with crayon, just press down harder and that color will get darker. The tag itself is 2 colors. If you hear a little sound, it's me sharpening my pencils using my little sharpener. This little loop is like a gold. The border is a gold. That's the only time we see yellow. Inside, we see green and yellow. So the letters are yellow. The area around the letters are green. I like to use my brush to brush that off. And it's an old toothbrush. Brown. The rest of Scooby-Doo is brown. Scooby-Doo is actually easy to color. If you want your brown to be darker, press down harder. If you want your brown to be lighter, don't press down so hard. And I can see I've already made one mistake. Sometimes I fuss at you all for making this mistake. I wonder if you all already know what that mistake is. I'll give you a hint. I colored something that I should not have colored. That's your first clue. Your second clue, for those of you that haven't gotten it yet, your second clue is this. There are 2 of them. That's your second clue. What do you think it is? Alright, some of you may not have guessed it yet. Your third clue is it's in the head. Let me sharpen this. These sharpeners are okay, but you have to have something that will collect all of the shavings. I don't exactly have the brown that they use for Scooby. The brown that they use looks like it has yellow or orange in it. I could go back. Let's see my colors. Let's see. Let's just experiment. I'll add a little bit of orange. So I'm layering the colors. I wonder if you all have guessed what I colored that I should not have colored. Well, I'll tell you. It's the eyes. I colored inside the eyes when I was coloring everything brown. So now I have to figure out a way of fixing that. Starting over is not an option. I just don't want to start over. Why? Well, if I take this paper and ball it up and start over, I will have wasted all that time. So an artist, most artists I know, are really good at problem solving. The problem is I've colored something brown, and it really doesn't matter the color. I colored something that should have stayed white. That's the problem. So I've identified the problem. So I'm thinking of solutions. How can I put white back in the eye? I could use an oil pastel, but white oil pastels will mix with other colors. So I'm going to end up with a color that's not quite white. So let me think. I need something that will definitely cover any color that's in that area. So the second thing I'm thinking of is once I add white to that area inside the eye, I'm not going to have to color over that. So I'm okay with what if I make that area kind of bumpy. Let's see if I can add yellow to this. They made Scooby a weird brown. I don't have a color that matches him exactly. If you're happy with just regular brown, that's fine. I'm doing what I like to call an experiment. So I'm conducting an experiment to see if I can match the brown by using multiple colors. And so far I have not done a very good job in matching that brown. There's like an olive yellow orange part to that brown that they used. I'm tempted to use green to see if that will help, but I'm not going to. Ha ha ha, tricked you. Alright, so I've come up with a solution to my problem. I love, and it's kind of hard to find, these whiteout pens. You shake it, there's a little metal ball inside, and it stirs up or mixes the whiteout solution back. I always take these pens and start on something else first. Now I'm going to go around where I messed up carefully. Now don't touch it because it is wet. Haha, there you go. Not great, not terrible, but a good compromise. You can continue experimenting with the brown, trying to make it darker or even. But I'm pretty happy with that. That's good enough. I did end up going over the brown with light green, and that kind of gave it a little bit more of an olive look. We're not quite done because we're not going to settle for something floating in the middle of our paper. We're going to create a background. I like to start with a pencil, and you're going to draw a horizon line by drawing a horizontal line. It does not have to be super straight. Do not trace this line with marker yet. You can add trees. A tree trunk. Add little wavy lines inside for leaves. It can be singular or like a W or backwards 3. Wavy lines for the bark. You can add another tree on the other side. Maybe this tree splits off like that. Now the reason why I'm going a little bit faster than I normally would is because you can make your own trees. You don't have to copy my trees. So far, I have drawn 2 trees. They're smaller than Scooby-Doo, so the emphasis is on Scooby-Doo because of the size. I'll let you all catch up. Maybe you want to draw some smaller trees in the back behind these trees. Remember we discussed overlapping? Maybe a small tree here and a smaller tree here. Maybe a tree here. Maybe this tree is tall. And inside the tree trunk, I'm just going to draw little wiggly lines. That's adding texture to the bark. Maybe in the sky, I have clouds. Maybe some big ones, maybe some smaller ones. Maybe I have part of the sun here. And then the rest would be grass. So I'm going to trace the horizon line around and behind the trees, like so.